Welcome to workout 1 in the one piece series, so called because we use just one piece of equipment for each workout. Today I have a kettlebell. You can use a pair of dumbbells or a pair of weight plates instead. If you don't have kettlebell. If you do, beginners, you start with something light. The important thing for you as a beginner is to learn the exercises, learn correct technique, learn how to do the moves, and then progress, and then add weight. So your weights get heavier once you've learned the moves. That's how we progress. I have a 14 kilogram kettlebell. That is, I'm going to be using today 14 kilograms. I would class that as kind of on the cusp between intermediate and advanced. If you're intermediate level, you want to be using about 8, 10, maybe 12. If you're advanced, I would say at least 12 kilograms today, please. So just to give you an idea of the sort of weights that would typically suit different levels. You use the right weight that's right for you. If you're a beginner, you're learning the moves. If you're more advanced, you are always remembering that correct technique, but you're adding weight so that it becomes really challenging for you, so that you get the most out of the session. Just quickly, because it's the first one, I just want to remind you of a couple of things really quickly, just because it's so important. We are going to be doing some squats and some swings today. Now, these are two exercises that pretty much everybody thinks they know how to do, and I'm afraid more often than not I see people doing it wrong, unless they have worked with a coach, with a personal trainer or some kind of coach. I find that people do these exercises incorrectly, and squats are one of the best exercises you can do, right? They really are, unless you do them wrong, and too many people do them wrong, and when you get them wrong, it's bad for your knees, guys. It can also be bad for your back. The main way people do squats wrongly is it looks like this, right? The knees, look what I'm doing here. The knees are coming forward. This is the correct way, sitting back like you're sitting in a low chair. I expect you to kind of already know this when you come into this workout. If you haven't had any coaching in squats before, please refer to the materials on the page. Maybe start with my new beginnings series first and then come into this, because it's important you know how to squat correctly. This is kind of there are fast changeovers in this workout. During the workout itself, I'm not going to have too much time to tutor you on technique. I'll remind you, but it's not a tutorial session. If you don't know, if you haven't been shown how to squat correctly, please sort that out before you come into this. And as always, anytime you're working out, really, unless you have a trainer watching you, have a mirror, because I can virtually guarantee you will have poor technique if you're not checking yourself out in a mirror. I would, all the years of experience I've had, I don't like working out without a mirror there. You should be aware of that too. Okay, the other one is swings. I see a lot of people swinging like this. I used to do it when I first started out too. I'm sorry about that. A swing should be, the legs don't move very much at all. The swing is very much about the hip hinge, very straight, flat back, hips pressing out behind you, and then the power comes as the hips drive forward. It's almost like a complete straight line here of the hips driving forward, and that's where the power comes. Arms are relaxed, and that drives the weight up, and then we hinge back down, okay? If you find in a swing you're not getting much, your upper body's staying up here and your knees are bending up and down a lot, that's not it. Again, please refer to my other videos. You can do a new beginnings kettlebell and various others to perfect your swing technique before you go into this. All right, let's get on then. Let's crack on with it. 50-10 interval, 50 seconds per exercise, 10 seconds changeover time in between. I'm just going to start the timer. We have 30 intervals, absolute variety-packed session. I think you're going to love it. We're going to start with a squat. You can squat without the weight for this first one if you want to, but if you want your weight, we've got it at chest height here. And remember everything I just said. We're going to sit and squeeze it up. Let's just check my feet here. Are they parallel? The feet need to find out what's comfortable with the feet, either parallel or just slightly turned out if that's a lot more comfortable for you. They're just outside hip width apart in this one. My belly is pulled in. I'm being mindful to press my butt out behind me while keeping that strong straight back. Squeeze up, it's controlled, it's not too quickly. Sit down, squeeze up all the time, keeping that core activated. Press those hips out behind you, squeeze up. It's okay to go all the way down, try and get as low as you can. Ideally you at least want, put your weight down, careful squat to put it down. Mindful of your technique there. You at least want your thighs parallel to the floor, ideally, when you squat, if you can with good technique. Now, we've got the clean. So again, my feet are just outside hip width apart. Nice, strong stance. And I'm sort of deadlifting it up, so my back is flat and straight. I'm pressing the hips out behind me, grabbing around the outside of the kettlebell handle here, powering up right through the feet and legs to bring it into this position here, okay? Straight wrist, no cocked wrists, okay? Straight line through the knuckles, wrist, down through the arms. And let's return to that start position, keeping the core on. Reset, and again, around the outside of the kettlebell handle. Drive up, bring it to here. Take a breath. Back down. Return. Let's do one more on this side. Yeah, do you get it now? Right, we're going to do the other side. Oh no, first we're going to do another set of squats. This time with an upright row. It's freezing in here today, I'm already warm. So remember what we talked about with the squat. We're going to do all that, adding in an upright row here. So sit those hips out behind you, chest is proud, come up, and as we do this upright row, make sure the elbows only come up as high as the armpits. Do not bring the elbows up too high, very important. Squeeze up, weights in close to the body as you row it up. Sit the hips back, squeeze up, row. Yeah, most common mistake in this one is bringing the elbows up too high, okay? That's not it. Elbows come up till they're in line with the armpits, okay? At no point should the elbows, they certainly shouldn't come above the shoulders. All right, now we're going to do that clean on the other side. So look, I'm turning the kettlebell around. So I've got the handle in the right place. Let's go. So remember, we're hinging from the hips here, pressing the hips out behind, flat back. Try and keep everything level and steady as the arm comes around to hold on the handle. Drive up through from the feet through the legs to find the power to flip the kettlebell up here. Palm is now facing the body. Very important, the wrist isn't cocked. Knuckles are pointing up to the ceiling. And control as you come out of it. Quickly reset. We did 3 on the first side, we'll do 2 more here. Down, clean it up. And back down. 1 more. Reset here. And with control. Put that weight down. Rotate your wrist, take it out there. Squat with a knee raise this time. Okay, so we're getting the core involved a bit more. But remember, the pointers I gave you before about squat technique. You can bring the kettlebell up chest height here. Get ready. Sit back into that squat, and as you come up, raise a knee. You don't have to bring it up as high as me. Sit back, up, raise the knee. Now, if your balance is challenged here, yeah? You find it too wobbly to come up onto one knee, you can either just do the squat, the same as before, but I would like you to try and work on the balance. So see if you can just lift your foot a little bit. You know, maybe just come up onto the ball of the foot, if that's enough of a challenge for you. Like that. Just gonna do 1 more each side, I think. Actually, let's try for 2 more. Up, knee. Sit up, knee. And let's finish that, knee. Okay, always be careful how you put your weight down, especially if, if it's a fairly heavy weight like I've got today. You want to be mindful of your technique. Now, we're going to row. So, bring your weight, press the hips back, flat, straight back. Okay, very important, your back is flat and straight and your belly is pulled in. I'm just going to row up here, yeah? I'm just going to turn around, you stay where you are. So look, I just want to show you that my other arm, please don't have it resting on the leg for this one. I want it just lightly, you can just lightly rest it on your hip. Yeah, so do not put any weight through this other arm. Squeeze up. If it's too much, if you can't maintain a flat straight back, you can put your hand on a chair, bench, table to support you, to make sure the back stays flat and straight. Against the motion of that row. Okay, rotate the wrists. it now. All right, what's next? Abs. Okay, lovely. So, you're going to break from holding the kettlebell here. It goes there. You're going to have your hands just behind the hips to support you. So, you start with the kettlebell in the middle of your body, feet are at one side, and we're going to go over, over with the feet together. If you can maintain a flat straight back without the hands there, release them. But if the back starts to round, the hands go back down, okay? Chest should be proud. If it starts to collapse in, the shoulders start coming forward, things start to hollow out, replace the hands. I want your back flat and straight here. All the time, over the kettlebell. Please, there should be no sound from the feet. Just touching the floor there. Touch, touch, not dropping the feet down. All right, what's next? Row on the other side. Okay, so remember everything we just talked about. Feet are below the hips here, nice strong stance, slight bend in the knee, tip the hips forward, strong straight back, and row, and row. Think about the upper back, pulling that weight up, elbow is in close to the body. I'm just going to turn around again to remind you that the other arm, the non-working arm, I'm just gently sort of pinching the top of my hip bone here so that I can feel that the bowl of my hips has come forward, that I've got that hinge for the hip crease. My back is flat and straight. I may need to keep my shoulders level. Do not straighten up as in stand up. Ooh, that was quite hard. Although I have been rowing this morning, so haha, yeah. So another set of squats here. Weight at chest height. You're going to squat, stay low. If you can, come up onto the balls of the feet. We're just activating the calves here. Very slowly drop them down. Come on up. That pause was deliberate. Yes, we're going to pause again. Sit back, pressing the hips out behind you. Lift onto the balls of the feet. Hold. Slowly bring the heels back down. Press up. Harder than it looks, right? Sit back. Balls of the feet up onto the balls of the feet. Keeping that back flat and straight. Gently lower the heels. Rise up. One more. Sit back. Pull the belly in. Heels come up. Ooh. Careful if you get wobbly. Heels down. Come up. Ooh. Careful how you put the weight down. Release the wrists. All right. You're going to have the kettlebell behind you on the mat here. Then you're going to lie down with your head, I don't know, about 10-20 centimetres below the kettlebell here. And hold on to it. Hollow out the belly, belly button into the mat. Legs come up together and slowly lower, but do not bring them all the way down. Centimetre above the floor, back up. Legs are straight, belly is pulled in, belly button to spine. You're almost trying to press your belly button into the floor. Try and cancel out any gap between the lower back and the floor. Arms are just out of the way, holding onto the kettlebell. You shouldn't be gripping it hard. Okay, lovely. Did you feel the lower abs now? A little bit of a break from holding the kettlebell as well. Now we're going to do deadlift. So, feet are underneath the hips. You can hold on to the sides of the kettlebell handles here if you want to. Belly in, press the hips out behind you. Down and up. Now, the hips here go back and forth. It's not a squat. The hips are going forwards and back. And notice there's a straight line where my hips are moving. They're moving along a horizontal straight line. And the weight, the kettlebell, is moving on a vertical straight line. Okay? The kettlebell is not coming out in front of me. It's staying in between my big toes, yeah? In between my feet. That's important. I'm going to come back to that, so try to remember it All right, what's next? Chest press. Okay, so upper body here. Gonna be down on the mat. And we're literally just gonna have the kettlebell above mid-chest level. Rise it up and down. Rise it up and down. If you're advanced and you're using a very heavy kettlebell here, it might be better for you to do press-ups. Instead of this one, I would do press-ups instead of trying to lift a heavy kettlebell above my chest like this for safety reasons and because, you know, kettlebells can be a bit awkward to hold, but you can hold the belly of the kettlebell, the ball of the kettlebell, if that makes it easier to grip in this one. But honestly, if you're advanced, a press-up would probably work better here anyway, so slightly more challenging move. Full press-up, no knees, if you're advanced, please. All right. Just noticed when my light bulb was gone, lying down there, on my kitchen ceiling. You didn't need to know that. All right, what's next? Okay, so deadlift again. We're going to do another set of that deadlift because it's important that we get this technique right. Feet are below the hips. Nice tall body, slight bend in the knee, and we're hinging at the hip, pressing the hip out behind us. Kettlebell comes down between the toes, it stays close to the body, and we rise up, okay? So the kettlebell is not dangling out in front of me, right? The reason why the kettlebell is staying close to my body is that I'm pressing my hips out behind me, yeah? Remember that horizontal line that my hips are moving along. They're not going up and down or diagonal. Along, yeah? And the kettlebell, straight vertical line. Back is flat, belly is in. Again, another move that people, think they know how to do. More often than not, they're doing it wrong. Not you though, not you and me. What's next? Okay, max bicep curl to work the arms a little bit here. So, hold the kettlebell, each side of the horns, elbows in tight, basic. Squeeze up. Careful you're not bashing don't bash your pelvic bone with the kettlebell. Takes a bit of control in that way. Make sure the elbows staying close to the body. Nice tall posture. If your kettlebell's a decent weight, this is going to start to burn. Takes a bit of wrist control as well to do this with a single kettlebell in this way. So obviously you need to control it in a way that, a slightly different way than if we use dumbbells or a barbell here. One more. All right. One more time with that basic deadlift. If you want to do single legs next time you can, otherwise we're going to stick with this. So, feet underneath each hip. Press those hips back, hold the handle, and the hips come forward and the kettlebell comes up. Straight lines, remember? Down, up. Very flat back. It's not a squat, it's a deadlift, okay? So the back is coming, it's going to depend on the height of your kettlebell handle, but almost parallel to the floor with the back. In a squat, I'll tell you to try and keep your shoulders pointing upwards. In a deadlift, you are hinging at the hip and your upper body in a straight sort of plank is going forward and up, hips out behind you. Very nice. Okay, I feel like we've got that now. If not, you can practice for the next couple of rounds with that. Oh, just need to move my sheet down so I can see what we got next. Breathe in a sec. It's going to be clean and press again then. Lovely. Okay, so we learned this in the first couple of moves. Feet just outside hip width. Set your posture. So you're going to deadlift down and then drive up to clean the weight here. If you want to add a press, it's hard for me with this weight. Bring it back down and return to the start position. Okay, let's try for two more. Last one. Down, drive up. I was just giving a little bit of help from the other hand there. As you can see, you can do that You know, I always want to be careful with my shoulders that things are moving on the right plane. So when that's a challenging weight for me to press over my head. I just wanted to make sure it was safe. All right. What we got before we move on to the other side, though, we're gonna do single leg deadlift. I'm just gonna start this way. So I'm gonna start on the left. So left foot is down exactly the same as before. The right foot, I'm just on the ball of the foot there, so that most of the work is being done by this left leg. Same other than that. Deadlift up, deadlift down. Thighs are level with each other, parallel, knees are level with each other. Hip width apart, but level with each other. And just really think about that left leg doing most of the work in the deadlift, yeah? Hinge, remember that hinge? Down, up. Just going to do one more because we started out with a beep. Beautiful. All right, so now it's going to be clean and press on this side. Shake it off, shake it off. Should be a bit easier for me on this side because it's my right hand. Remember, we start from here, drive up through the legs, and press overhead. Always working on ironing out those imbalances between sides, but there's always going to be something for most people of a stronger side. Please do not do more exercises, do more reps. Do not do more reps on your stronger side, okay? I'm going to stick with 3 because I did 3 on the left. However many you did on the first side, you do on the second side, okay? Because otherwise, if you've got one side stronger than the other, and almost everyone has, if you do more exercises on that stronger side, the imbalance is going to get worse and worse and you are going to get injured. You're going to focus on that weaker side. In fact, I'm just going to do 1 extra rep on my weak side so I can work on correcting that imbalance, yeah? Deadlift, single leg, other leg. So it's going to be my right leg doing the work here for me. Knees parallel, thighs parallel. Focusing on the working leg. Deadlift, everything the same as when we did 2 legs, apart from the fact that we're doing it on 1 leg, yeah? We have got the left leg there for a bit of extra support just on the ball of that foot, but we really want the strength and power coming out of that working leg, the right leg this time for me. Remembering all those technique cues. So the hips, they're still moving forward and back on that horizontal line. The weight is moving up and down on that vertical line. It's just outside my big toe, steadies in that straight line above there, all the way through the movement. Very nice. Okay, where we go next? It's going to be, oh nice. We're down on the mat, we're going to do some abs. You can do this with or without the weights. Lie back, and it's going to be 2 crunches, 1, 2, stick with the crunch if you want, and in a sit-up, 2 sit-ups if you want to make it more advanced. 2 sit-ups, then 2 crunches again, 1, 2 crunches, 2 sit-ups. Notice if you're doing the sit-ups and the crunches, how those 2 exercises, crunch, crunch, sit-up, sit-up, how these 2 exercises actually work different areas of the abs. Crunch, crunch, they should feel different. Sit-up, 1 last sit-up. Okay, shake it off. All right, now we're going to go into the swing. Talked about this at the start. Please remember those technique cues that I mentioned. Have the weight out in front of you, feet just outside hip width apart. Set your posture long, straight back. Knees slightly bent. Press the hips out behind you. Both hands on the kettlebell. Swing it through and up. Kettlebell should come up to shoulder height. Please don't bring it any higher than your shoulders. Please make sure that your body is hinging at the hip. So you should be coming down with the chest pretty much parallel to the floor and then upright at the top. Hips are pressing out behind you. It's not a squat, it's a swing. Please check yourself in the mirror. Make sure you're hinging forward and up, forward, up, with that flat straight back. Very nice. shake it off. What's next? Bear row. You can do the same row we did in round one if you like. Otherwise, get into bear. So that means we have our hips, we're on all fours, but our knees are just hovering a bit here. Row, replace. Try and keep everything else still. Row, replace. Pull the belly in. Row, replace. I'm going to try for 2 more. Row, replace. Row, replace. 1 more makes 6. Row, replace. Right, just going to recover there. It's a lot with that weight. But you keep going if you can. I actually went rowing this morning, so my back's a bit fatigued. So, definitely do more than me if you can in those rowing moves. Right, swing again then. Remember everything we just talked about. Back through to get a bit of momentum and forward. Remember not to bring the kettlebell up too high. If you find when you come to the top of your swing, the kettlebell flaps up, you probably need a heavier kettlebell. If you have more than one kettlebell, by all means, use a heavier kettlebell for this swing than the other moves in this workout. You will find that you can do that. You should be able to swing a much heavier kettlebell really. But this is one piece, so I'm sticking with the one. Still a great exercise, because we get all that power through the hips. Driving up. Okay, last one. We've got bear on the other side. Bear row. You can also, if you find the row too much, just hold the bear. This bear position here. That's a great exercise in itself. I'm going to do 6 on this side. Hold everything firm. Row, replace. Row, replace. My knees came up too high there. Just resetting. Row, replace. What's that, 3 I think for me? And 4. 5. And 6. Oh, my whole body. Please keep going if you can. Should be really pulling the belly in tight there. Trying to stop the body moving around too much. Let's get up into that swing. I'm just going to stand sideways to the camera. I want you to notice that I'm hinging forward and back. I'll demonstrate that. Swing then, very flat back. Through and up to shoulder height. Actually just a little bit below the shoulders is ideal. Do not want your kettlebell coming up too high. I want you in control of this movement. You should be actively and consciously pulling the belly in, activating the core. Remember, it's like we're wearing a very thick, tight belt around your midsection. Engaging those muscles that hold the spine in place. The spine is not moving. All of that area is straight. The hinge comes from the hip creases, powering up through the glutes. You're going to get so much more out of that exercise if you do it correctly. Back down for another set. Chest press here. So remember what I said last time. If you're advanced, or for whatever reason you don't want to do this with a kettlebell, do press-ups. Advanced, I want full press-ups, please. As many as you can. Beginner knee or box. If you're advanced, I get that you might not be able to do a full interval of full press-ups. But if you're advanced, you should be able to do at least 1 or 2, Give me those 1 or 2 full press-ups before moving to your knees. If you're doing the chest press like me, remember to keep your elbows close to the body. Your upper arms and elbows should be brushing the sides of your rib cage as you come down and up. Or if you're more blessed than me, might be the size of your boobies, lucky you. Up, And off we go. Very nice. I am feeling this now. Last few moves. Swing again then. If you're getting tired like me, don't let your form slip. It's more important now than ever that we keep that flat straight back. We think about actively engaging the core. We get that hip hinge. Okay, when you get tired in any workout, that's the time to really focus on your technique as your top priority. Should always be your top priority. When you're getting tired, you might need to extra concentrate to maintain that correct form. This is when it really counts. You'll make more progress. If you need to slow down, you need a lower weight or no weight, that's not a problem. But it's mandatory that your technique is correct. Aye. Ha. Next, bicep curl. Okay, small movement, a bit of a rest for some of the body, not a rest for the arms. But it's nice to, as you come to the end of any workout, end of a session, you'll find a lot of trainers do this. I'm a fan myself as well of bringing in some exercises for the smaller muscle groups of the body. Just burn those out at the end, yeah? So biceps, upper arms. Hopefully you understand that everybody's biceps are going to be smaller than the muscles of their lower body. Even super strong people, your biceps are going to be weaker than your legs. Unless you different abilities aside, if you know what I mean. Obviously, if you don't walk, then your legs are gonna not be as strong, but in general. Right, last swing. You know what I mean. Just don't want to leave anyone out. Right, last swing, let's make them good. Up and through. Up and through. Last 30-second swing, then we've got one core move, then we're done. Make sure you are getting that hinge. So at the bottom of the movement, your chest should face the floor. At the top, your shoulders should point to the ceiling. The back is flat all the way through. The spine doesn't move because you are actively engaging the muscles which keep the spine in correct position. Last exercise. Kettlebell in front of you. You can do plank on your knees, elbows, upper hands, full plank. I'm just going to move back a little bit because I want to tap the handle of the kettlebell to just make this plank dynamic. Now, I'm going to focus on keeping my hips level. I do not want my hips to rock. They're probably going to rock a little bit, but I'm trying to avoid that as much as possible against the momentum being created by me lifting my hand to tap the kettlebell handle. Palms come below shoulders, don't let them drift forward. Hips down, no sticking up bums please. It's a plank, not sticking up bum exercise. Look diagonally out in front of you, tap, tap, tap. And that's it. Now you can stick your bum out behind you, down towards the heels, extend the arms, recover, roll up. This is where the workout ends. You now need to go and stretch and work on your mobility while you recover and to enable your body for the best benefits of today's workout. All right, this was the first one piece, right? Let me know what you thought of it. Let me know what pieces of equipment you would like me to use in other workouts in this series. Obviously, I've got a ton of ideas, but it's always good to know what equipment you have and what you want to use, okay? If you need any advice on adapting for different types of weights or whatever, anything, just come talk to me on Facebook. Hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.